Hello, I would like to share with you a little piece of technology that I've just developed in Substance Designer for blending averaged and flat normals together at the edges of UV islands. I often found it's beneficial to do two bakes to get things really nice, one with average normals and one with flattened normals. The pros and cons of average normals versus flat normals are as follows. These are the flat normals. The average normals button was unticked during the bake, and as you can see, every detail is beautifully projected as if it were being projected flat on without any distortion. However, if we look at smooth edges, there is a terrible price, and the smooth edges are not so smooth. These are the average normals. If I plug those in, you can see that the smooth edges become much nicer, as the normal is being projected over the edge using the average of the normals of the edge and the flat surface. But if we go back down to here, where this piece has quite a harsh projection angle due to the geometry of this piece of mesh here, this has been skewed because the optimal projection angle was somewhere over here. And if we look at it from that angle, it looks brilliant, but not from anywhere else. Especially not the angle at which a weapon is supposed to be seen in a first-person shooter game. It's a bit rubbish. So we use the best of both worlds. In Photoshop, I usually get a UV mask from the UV maps, and I create a stroke of the edges, and then I use that to bring in average normals only at the edge of geometry, where they're of the most benefit, and I use the flat normals underneath to go over flat areas. This is something that I thought we could easily do in Substance. So here is the graph that I've made. It's called flatNormalEdgeFix because I'm really good at naming things. These are my flat normals, and I will plug these into the flat normals hole, and these are my average normals. I'll plug these into the average normals hole. Now I need my UV mask. Handily, Substance can output an unpadded SVG, which I've coloured in all white, set the background colour to black full alpha. It's important when you do that to make sure that over here the SVG vector graphics quality is set at 1, otherwise it does not reproduce the Bezier curves very nicely. I'm going to plug that into the, I forget what I called it, the UV mask hole. It's probably called a pin or something. I'm going to call them holes. And here we've got a blended normal map. I also added a switch so that you can see the mask. This is what's happening with the UV map. It's just being blurred and then subtracted from itself, and you get a mask around the edges of the UV. I've added some controls like blur intensity, which you want to keep reasonably low, and a levels node. Ooh, disco. And that is a good edge mask. That's going to capture inside edges pretty well. Turn that off, and if we muck around with it, you can probably see, where are we? Now it's blending between the two normal maps. If we use the blur intensity, you can see that better. And the effect on the model, if we plug that in to the normal hole, clean that up a bit. So we've got average normals on the edges. Here are the horrible average normals, but where it matters most, in the middle, we can blend in the nice flat normals. Let's take a look at our smooth edges over here, which, if you remember, with the flat normals were not so smooth. Now they are smooth. Everything is projected face on, and my art manager is a happy bunny. Okay, we won't talk about that bit. Thank you for watching.